right, so this is at the front door. We just walked in, and the first thing we see is the tall bike. Tell me about the tall bike.
Tall bike is like the parade bike that if you're doing like a big bike ride and you're just trying to have fun, I ride this thing. I welded it with a lot of help from some local welders in Knoxville, Lauren and Erica. I couldn't have done it without them. But it's like mostly like kind of tongue in cheek, like all the parts on it are like really fancy, but it's like, you know, rusty. It's like a little high-low exploration. So then over here, this is gonna be like signage that we're developing right now that's gonna like explain what we do. And then I've always felt like the coolest bikes in any bike shop are the staff bikes. So this is like customer and staff bike parking. So like, this is my like daily commuter. It's like a Rivendell Hunkapillar. And this is my currently kind of clapped out gravel bike.
And the handlebar tape matches your socks, man.
Yeah. All about it. I'm like always, I like pink. I put little pink details on all my bikes.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of like some curated goods that like people, so we have like a community workspace where people can work on their own bikes. And we try and keep everything in stock that they need to like refurbish their own bike. So we keep like a bunch of handlebar tape and like grips in fun colors and like saddles. And like if you want to make your bike more comfortable, we keep like cool handlebars in stock. This is like the Velo Orange Clunker bar. And we try and keep like a spectrum of cost. So like these VO bars are really nice and super cool, but we also carry these like Zoom bars where you get basically the same thing, but they cost like $7 or maybe they're 14 or something. And then we keep all of our like little parts and accessories over here. So we try and keep everything in stock to like help someone kind of get on their bike and be prepared on their first day. And we're all about like kind of like high-low here. So like if you want to get like a used light, we'll have a bin of them up front that are going to be like a couple of bucks. But also like if you want to get like the nicest bell like ever made, like we keep some of that like kind of like curated stuff in stock too. We love spur cycle bells. It's kind of a part of like everyone that works at Two Bikes is like an avid cyclist, so we like sell the stuff that we actually use.
Super convenient for basically anyone that comes in here.
Totally. So if you want to like come here and get the cheapest bike possible and like put water bottle cages and lights and then the lock on it so you're ready to go, like you can totally do that. But like no other local bike shops are like selling stuff for commuting. They're all really focused on like road cycling or riding mountain bikes. So like we carry the cool like community stuff. Yeah. You got to keep the Nagchampa going. Some like cool pedals and like cool tires and like the outer shell bags, Ultra Dynamico tires. We got some SimWorks stuff. If you want like a little pizza bag, somebody donated this, you know.
Pizza. Pizza. Tão deliciosa de comer. Com queijo.
And we're like still building all this out. Excuse us, our like community stand is covered up with beer that somebody donated from a local gravel event last weekend. And yeah, like, I mean, it was a part of it. We want it to be like a place where you can hang out. So we like have a fridge that we just keep stock. And if anyone wants to like come in and get a seltzer or if you're above age and allow it, you can come grab a beverage. So yeah, this is a community stand where people can work on their own bikes. I hate feeling unwelcome in bike shops. So we put like a bar top. You know, like so many bike shops you go in and it feels like it's so awkward while someone's changing your flat or whatever it is. We wanted the opposite experience. So like we're working on our bikes right here. Like you're welcome to come and like hang out and ask us questions while we're working. This is like the pro bench. So this is where our staff work on bikes. This is where we refurbish used bikes like this cool specialized rock hopper. So a real like proponent of a place for everything and everything in its place. Trying to make everything like super easy to use, super easy to find the tools that you're looking for. So all of our tools are laid out with frequency of use. So like the stuff that you use every day, 10 mil socket, or I'm sorry, 10 mil combination wrench is going to be really low. Head tube facing tool, not used so much, up really high. Like all of our sockets laid out in a really like nice way. Yeah, trying to keep everything super functional, like really, really easy to use. Even like if you go over here, like we have like all of our bulk brake pads in like labeled bins. And like we make it easy for our staff. So it's like if you're getting these basic road pads, when you're filling out your paperwork for refurbing, we have like the price of each set on there. And we're still building out a lot of this, but it's coming along really nice. We're stoked.
And then let's take a look at some of the bikes that are already built and ready for sale.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see, I would say like this Trek, like multi-track, is kind of like a good example of the kind of stuff that we like to build. So we have like big like platform pedals that you can use with any shoe. Like you don't need a cycling specific shoe to ride them. This like frame doesn't have the space to run a really big tire, but we've like maxed out the size of the tire that we can run on it. And then the real like telltale sign of like a 2x bike is we're gonna put like really upright handlebars. These are a knockoff of the Rivendell Albatross bar that you can get from J&B for, yeah, super cheap. So we can keep the bike super affordable, but make sure it's also like really comfortable to ride. And yeah, we love building stuff like this. On this bike, like the like housing, like this black stuff, is run like super long, so you can like press it down and out of the way if you want to add a basket. So we're kind of trying to set people up. I think one thing that we're really excited about in Chattanooga is the downtown is really flat. So in Knoxville, there's so much elevation, we can't really build single speeds there. They're like really challenging to ride. But we can build stuff like this here and then feel confident that we're setting people up for success. A lot of the time, this bike is from the 80s, but a lot of frames that were designed and built in the 70s to like even some of the early 80s, you have to throw away the whole drivetrain and a lot of the time the wheels. So they're really hard to recycle, really hard to refurbish. But now that we're building single speeds, we've kind of streamlined it and we can refurbish these like pretty old frames as long as the frames are still well aligned and keep them out of the landfill and turn them into practical transportation. And they look sick. This thing came out really nice. We got some like cool Velo orange bars on here.
Yeah, I love the white pedals, saddles, and grip.
Yeah.
Match.
It's definitely like the frame has seen better days. Like it's like really like pretty weathered. But totally functional. So sometimes a little design trick that we use is like the frame is like looks pretty old. You put like white components on it, and then it's like those really pop, and it's a nice little contrast of like new versus old.
That's smart.
Yeah, just fun stuff. And then we can cruise to the back. You can see some back of house. So this is still like in development, but like all of these bikes hanging right here have like all of their like paperwork completed. And they have all of the parts that they need to be refurbished in these blue bins beneath them. So it makes it really easy for staff. Like you can come in here and instead of like having to know the compatibility of like the cable pull ratio of every rear derailleur, a more advanced mechanic has already figured all of that out. And then you can just come in here and build, which is really fun. So these are all like, this is what we call our queue for the next 2 weeks.
These are bikes that you're building out to sell from donated parts mostly.
Yeah, we donate some of these and we sell some of them.
And then also there's, of course, the donated aspect to it. But then also you have repair. Eventually when you do open, you will have repairs.
Yeah, so we're full service. We encourage people to work on their own bike and we'll like help them through that process. But if people don't want to, if they don't have time or, it's like a challenging skill to learn. If you just want to get back on the road, we're happy to fix your bike up for you. And our turnaround time is really fast. We try and fix bikes within 48 hours whenever we can. This is what you really need. This is like a 2,000 watt stereo that we use for parades.
Yeah.
We fondly refer to it as the Wang machine. It's very loud, but we use this for bike parades and stuff. It's like super fun to be biking through neighborhoods and you're just like bumping. And we like built all this ourselves, I guess, like probably obviously. But yeah, this is like a super fun project. But yeah, it's cool. Like, I feel like sometimes people have such an adverse relationship with cyclists. You're like, oh, you're in my way. I feel that way sometimes. Like, I'm going up like a busy road and there's like a cyclist and I'm just like, why are you here now? Like, shouldn't you have chosen like a less populous road to ride on your road ride? I love road riding and sometimes there's no way around it. All I mean to say with that is that like I can empathize of like cyclists can be really inconvenient, but it's nice when you can flip that paradigm and it's like a rolling bike party of like 50 or 100 people going through like back streets in a neighborhood, playing music and having fun. No one's like, those people are the worst. You're like, oh, I wish I was doing that. It was like, just trying to break down barriers between like pedestrians and cyclists. And yeah, this is our unrefurbished bikes. So these have been like donated from organizations or from individuals. Every donation is tax deductible. So like if you've ever like put a bunch of clothes in a garbage bag and donated them to a local Carm or Goodwill or some type of thrift store, Salvation Army, we do the same thing with bikes. So people just donate all of these to us as a way to kind of empower other community members to use a bike for transportation. And this is like kind of the heart and soul of what we do. Like if people didn't donate these type of bikes to us, we could never do this. And it's amazing, like all of these bikes have been donated to Chattanooga in the last like 3 months. And it's like we couldn't do it without this type of community support. Oh, this is what the people want to see right here. This is our vintage vise. I bought it from a really nice Guatemalan man at a pawn shop. This is my pride and joy. I've like snapped like 3 or 4 vices in my day. And when I was opening the shop, I was like, I will spare no expense on my vise. I will not buy a vise that's gonna break. Not that this was particularly expensive, but the cool American-made vintage vise. And yeah, it's fun to lay out a shop when you know what you're doing. So you can like keep all of the tools that you're gonna use like at arm's reach. So it's like any of the like smaller like fabrication stuff is like on a magnetic strip next to the vise. If you're like cutting steer tubes, like we keep our like cutting guides right here. Like a lot of the times you'll be using these bottom bracket tools. I'm sorry, I could pick up a freewheel remover and say bottom bracket tool. Same thing of like keeping all of your like wheel truing and wheel building supplies like within an arm's reach, like right next to your truing stand. This type of like small design decisions that make the whole experience of working on bikes so much better. Like you're not constantly hunting like, oh, I need like, I know the rotor truing tool or a nipple driver. Like where like digging through a bunch of stuff, like where is that? You're like, it's all there, like you can see all of it. And that's why I'm not a huge fan of like tool chests because it like hides everything away. It's like, I want to be able to see it kind of as quickly as possible, like where the thing is and like where its home is. Cause like I can look up here and be like, yeah, our like saw is there. If a hacksaw is missing, I would know immediately. And we'll go in and we'll trace every tool. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Oh,
and
you trace the shape with a marker. You mean like this?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we haven't traced them yet because you got to let the tools settle in a little bit. You got to be like really like, we'll probably move the hacksaw like over here so it's closer to the vise because that's where you're going to use it all the time. But we kind of threw it all up in a way that was based on experience. But then you figure out little changes you want to make because this is actually like an insane project. So like this is a custom made pegboard. Like this is all hand drilled. So it matches everything. It's like super beautiful, but you only get one chance to like trace all the tools. You have to do a good job because we're never gonna make this again. Huge shout out to Will and Tate for hand making this for us. But so we also like handmade the speakers. These are JBL 322Cs, like the 12-inch driver. So they're pretty cool. There's like this guy, Devin Turnbull out of New York, who designs audio equipment. And he got really into using these JBL 322s because they're like a coaxial driver, which means that the tweeter and the woofer are integrated together. And it has a crossover. If you think of like audio equipment, excuse this like probably poor explanation, your different drivers can produce different frequencies, right? So the complexity of building speakers is it's like you amplify the signal from your turntable or your computer, and then you have to send those frequencies, like the high frequencies to your tweeter, your mid frequencies to like your mid-range driver, your woofer, and then your lower frequencies to the subwoofer. And then like you have to decide where to divide up all these frequencies. All of this to say it's like a little complicated. This is super cool because the crossover, it's all built into one package. So then you can build a cool hi-fi speaker without having to design your own crossover, and it sounds really good. And these speakers actually designed to be like installed in like a ceiling. So then you build these like big boxes to kind of try and emulate that.
And this is one of two in the shop.
Yeah, this is one of two that we built. So we got one over here and one over here.
Yeah.
And like we have plans, we have plans to do more.
Yeah.
So we'll keep building speakers. And we're like, you just have to hunt for this stuff. It's all unfortunately super expensive. To get like a good driver is pricey, but you just gotta watch eBay. Like I found these for like 70% off from some architecture student.
And it's absolutely worth it for the vibes in the shop, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. Do it once, do it right. And then, yeah, you can take a peek back here. So this is not like finished being built out yet, but this will be a room. Eventually we'll have an office back here, and then volunteers and mechanics, if they need to like knock out a big project, you can come work on it back here. And this is a wall of all the supplies that we use to refurbish bikes. So like we have a ton, we love these like Altus rear derailleurs that have these huge jockey wheels, so you can have like a big difference between your small and large chain rings and like cassette tooth size. Kind of chains, again, like we replace a lot of the brakes on every bike, so we have like a bunch of old brakes. We replace like basically every bottom bracket that goes on any bike, so we have like, right now we only have the 68 mils, we don't have our 73s in yet, but we have like every bottom bracket size for square taper. I feel like if we have one object that is a metaphor for two bikes, it's probably like the Humble, they don't make it anymore, but like the UN55 Shimano square taper bottom bracket, they just work for forever. Like they're heavy, but they're great. I forget what the new model is, but I'll forever be attached to the UN55. This is a project that I'm working on. I'm like, this will be like my like drop bar commuter bike, but gonna do a bunch of work to it. Gonna braze on a bunch of stuff with some help from a local frame builder, like hand built my own wheels. This is my rear wheel that's like done, that I just like built the other day. It'll have like integrated, what's called like dynamo, a dynamo light system, so I don't have to worry about charging the lights on my bikes.
Mitchell, this all of my years working in true crime television, this just reminds me of an interrogation room right here.
I know it's not the best office. I dread the day where I have to like.
No, I think it's kind of rad actually.
It's okay.
It'll get there.
I like windows, but
Yeah. Tell me about the. You got a new shipment in today, didn't you?
Oh yeah. I'm so glad you asked. So our friend of the shop, friend of the pod, Will, sews bags. It's called like Farther Bag Company, and we just did this collab where we're doing some limited edition 2 bikes farther bags, and we like just got these in like an hour ago. So we've got like this big 2 bag that can go on your handlebar, and these feed bags that again, like I feel like this like stem, caddy bag, or feed bag, whatever you want to call it, is also like an effective metaphor for the type of bikes we like to use. You put them, you can see I have some on my bike. Shout out, this is actually a farther bag that Will built for me that he donated to the shop in Knoxville, like back when we opened. But like, it's just like a place where you can like dump your phone while you're riding a bike, dump your like headphones, jam like a big Nalgene in there or whatever. It just makes your bike super practical instead of being like, oh, I got to put on a backpack or like whatever it is. Like,
Oh, I love mine. When I transitioned from the fanny pack to the
yeah,
what do you call that? There's a bunch of
stim
names.
bag.
Stim bag, yeah.
Yeah.
I just call it like
Bead
a
bag.
little stuff sack.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
it's so nice.
I got this thick boy. This company, Rivendell Bicycle Works, make this. They're like really tongue in cheek with their branding. This is called the Sackville Sacks for Cyclers. like, but it's just like this big bag where you can put all your stuff. I like get all my groceries by bike whenever I can. So like just to have like the basket on the front, like big bag on the back. Yeah, and like I think that this bike kind of represents a lot of my like ethos around frame building. It's like kind of the same stuff that we try and put on all of our bikes over here. Like it's not like this frame is really nice, but this like micro shift Advent drivetrain is like cheap. This is the real thing that I'm really into. So I run these Shimano Dior V brakes. So this is like a really cheap brake. It's the same stuff we put on bikes that we sell for a couple $100. But then like pulling it with compressionless housing and these pull-out brake levers. Like these are really beautiful boutique CNC'd in America brake levers. But I don't think that like running really fancy brakes make any performance difference. But I think having the really nice brake lever does really improve the lever feel.
Interesting. Okay.
So I got like cheap brake run into a super nice brake lever.
Yeah.
All about the combination of things.
And then this is a good example of some of the two bikes blue. Not the exact same paint color.
Yeah.
But pretty similar. And then we've got Chattanooga now instead of the Knoxville like the other shop has. Yeah,
I feel like we hunted for forever. This is an example of just learning things from other people. Of like everyone, like if you've ever worked for a small business, like the merch game's hard. It's hard to find the right blank, like what T-shirt you actually want to print on. And my friend Dan Furbish, who runs the Oasis Bicycle Workshop, I bought one of his shirts on these comfort colors. And I was like, oh, this is the answer. This is the best. So now, whenever we do T-shirts, we always print them on the comfort colors. They like fade in really nice. They're like a heavier weight shirt, so they last. Yeah, love the comfort colors. And again, just trying to use things that other people are doing right, you know. So.
All right, so goodbye, Mitchell.
That's the shop. Thanks for coming by. Goodbye, internet.